It's finally time for the Slavicathon wrap up. Hello wolves, what's up? I hope you're good. So today we're here for the Slavicathon wrap up. What were the 3 tales, what they're gonna bring you for the next round, what I have read, etc. We're gonna talk about that now. I'm not gonna lie, I was super scared when I launched the Slavicathon or whatever because I'm no one and it is super niche, so I was like, yeah, no one's gonna understand, no one's gonna want that or whatever, but I was so surprised and I wanted to say thank you to all of you for participating in the Slavicathon. It really means the word that you actually play the game and try to read as many Slavic inspired books. It truly means a lot, and I also wanted to say thank you to Femke Pris for being there for the sprints with me. There's gonna be a second round of Slavicathon. I'm not gonna say when, but it's gonna be in a long time, so don't worry, you don't have to like keep a TBR or whatever ready. If you have a Slavic folklore you would like to read now, please go for it. You will have plenty of time to figure out a second TBR. But talking about TBR, let's go through all the books that I have read first. So I started with this one, so Sorcerer's Spring, which is about Slavic folklore from the South Slavic countries, so my region, whatever. I was pleasantly surprised by how many I actually did not know or knew, but a bit like differently, whatever. We have our own version of Cinderella, which is kind of gore-ish, like the majority of our stories, I believe. I don't know why, but our stories are kind of like gore-ish, bloody, and bones and things like that, but I really enjoyed it. 5 stars. If you want to know about our version of Cinderella or version of other stories, I would recommend this one. We also have different versions of stories coming from Russia, so that was quite interesting because then I started this one and I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually the same story with different names, a different setting or whatever. 5 stars, 5 stars. Obviously, like, I enjoyed them both. I would really recommend to anyone actually to pick up like some tales, Russian tales, Slavic tales, etc, etc, because they're all like super good. If you don't know where to start with Slavic folklore, I would always suggest or middle grade books like retelling, etc, or original tales. You will understand more details if you know the tales beforehand, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I would highly recommend these amazing books. Then I read Creation Tales a long ago, also 5 stars, also brilliant fairy tales. I did not know the majority of them because they're really focusing on Croatian folklore, and I feel like these were kind of different because more lyrical, more like a Disney type of like fairy tales, because you have like Once Upon a Time, Once Upon a Whatever, which is something I don't usually have in my tales, like from Bosnia and Slovenia. It could mean that I'm just like a weirdo because all stories should start with like Once Upon a Time. Mine did not, but I really enjoyed that one, and it is free. I will again link it down below if you want to read it online. Then I read The Snow Child, which is a retelling of Snegorochka, which is the retelling of Snow Maiden, of a Snow Child, etc, etc. Really enjoyed the retelling. It was kind of close to the ending, but even though I knew about Snegorochka, I was still on the edge while reading the story. I was still intrigued on what was going to happen, but obviously it is very close to the original tale, so not really surprising, but still there were parts that were quite surprising and quite unique. I give it 4 stars, not totally like 100% in, but I really enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend it. And this is basically the story of a little girl who was made of a snowman. And then the last one I have read is this one, Through the Whitewood. It is definitely Russian inspired because the characters have Russian names and you have mentions of the Firebird and Baba Yaga, etc. in the story. So it is not quite a retelling, but it uses like some Russian folklore to like build up like the world building here. So it was really interesting as well. I really loved it. I read the other book by that author, really enjoyed it. I still don't know if I'm gonna give it 3 stars or 4 stars because I'm still like not sure, but I did enjoy it. I also listened to the audiobook, so I'm not sure. I feel like it deserves a 4 stars, but as I was really tired at the end of the readathon, I was not as focused as I would have been in another time and another time or whatever. So that's why 3 stars, but I feel like it deserves 4 stars. So, but yeah, that's it for my mini wrap or whatever. Let me down below what you have read, what was your favorite book, and what book you did add it to your TBR because everyone was reading it. During Slavicathon, which lasted 2 days for everyone, 4 days for my patrons, we have almost read 20,000 pages, which is just wild, like completely wild, like 20,000 pages. We were like at 19,700 something like that, but let's say 20,000. And I love that I got the numbers, so now I can compare it to next edition, etc, etc. I know it's useless, but I love numbers sometimes. Don't make me do math, but I love numbers. I love stats and data. We also got 3 winners from the giveaway, and the winners are Elizabeth, Ellen, and Kelly. Congratulations. Okay, now is the time to tell you what you wanted to know, and I feel like it's so not gonna be a big thing that you're all gonna be disappointed. I'm sorry in advance, but here's a bingo board. So if you have picked the prompts Old Witch, Family, Bright Cover, On a Mission, in Nature, you're gonna get Baba Yaga's superpower. Baba Yaga is a very well-known character in Slavic folklore, Eastern European countries, etc. And it's also some kind of morally grey character, because even though she's known as eating children, etc., sometimes in some stories she will actually help the protagonist. She's also seen as very close to nature, and sometimes, apparently, in some stories she can be turned into a cloud, a snake, a bird, an animal, a tree, etc., etc. As I said, Baba Yaga is present in many countries with sometimes different name. I know her as Baba Roga or Shumska Majka, which means like the mother of nature, etc. So still a relationship with nature. And in my countries like Bosnia, Slovenia, and also like in Croatia and Serbia, Baba Yaga, Baba Roga, Shumska Majka is actually used to scare children. And more often you're gonna be like, don't go at night next to the cut wood or whatever, or next to the river, Baba Yaga might be there, etc, etc. So yeah, it's just to prevent kids from getting into trouble. So we tell them that Baba Roga, Shumska Majka is over there, etc, etc. So yeah. And obviously she's also known for having a house with chicken legs. So for next time, your power will be this one. You will be able to jump over a prompt and come back to it later, because Baba Yaga can super fast be from one place to another. So you will be able to jump as many times as you want. So basically you can read the prompts, read the books in the order you want. Then if you read these prompts, so Yellow Cover, Feather on the Cover, Let's Fight, Royalty, and Animal Friends, it was actually the Firebird story. The Firebird is known in many stories. It's not as Baba Yaga, because Baba Yaga, I believe, is present in 1,000 like of stories, of tales. The Firebird a bit less, I would say, because you have it in the like Ivan Tsarevich, the Grey Wolf, and the Firebird. You have it with the Power Horse and Vasilisa. You have it by itself, etc. So you have many tales with the Firebird, but usually the Firebird, yes, it is a magical creature. Yes, it is made of gold. It is not a phoenix, because phoenix are from South Africa, I believe, and they have nothing to do with the Firebird, even though they can reborn like from their ashes, etc. The Firebird will bring you doom. Like, you're gonna find a feather, usually you know that's the beginning of a quest, and not really the happiest one. It is not usually a quest you want to go on, but that people make you go on. So it's also like a message in like, if you find something valuable, whatever, sometimes it may be best to actually keep it to yourself and not tell everyone else. If you do tell everyone else, they're gonna ask you for this when you give them actually the hand. You know what I mean? That's an expression we have here. So yeah, the Firebird is not always a good sign. It is in many stories, but don't be greedy. But also, as I said, so the Firebird brings bad luck, because you're doomed, and the quest, etc. As Baba Yaga, it has a bad side, but it has also a good side, because the Firebird is also known to be like the Slavic version of Robin Hood, because the Firebird is known to steal from the rich people to bring everything to the poor people. Sometimes it is just like bringing something to them or whatever, but sometimes the Firebird is gonna fly over villages, etc., some fields, and just drop like pearls for the peasants or for the poor people to actually make money from it. So also morally gray creature of some sort. The Firebird will actually allow you to double up a prompt if and only if there is some gold on the cover. That's it. Then actually my favorite, the last one, is the one that was found the least, I would say, and it is simply the domovoi. So the domovoi also has many names or whatever, but basically it is a spirit that lives in your house and that protects your house. So yeah. The majority of the time it is seen as a very old man that lives near the fireplace, the oven, you know, the center of the house, which is usually the kitchen, and it actually protects the house, play with the children, and is very close to the animals in the house. It's gonna protect your house, it's gonna protect your kids, it's gonna protect your animals, as long as you keep everything clean, because it doesn't like messy things. So make sure to always bring him a snack and do your dishes. Domania or Domovica can be like the female version of the domovoi, also living at the house. I know domovoi as domaci. In Bosnia we call it domaci, and in Slovenia Scribd or Skratek. So we also have our own version of the little spirit that is next to the oven. That's why we sometimes bring it some biscuit or, you know, what we didn't eat, etc., for it to also have something and to keep the house a safe place. A long time ago, you didn't really give food to the domovoi, but you were sacrificing hens, for instance, which is not something I do, but that's in the culture. So if the majority of the prompts you have read the book for are dark cover, snack, oldest book on your TBR, magic, and friend, you were in the team domovoi. And as you can see, all the prompts have a relation with the character from the main story, because a friend is someone who looks after you, which is exactly what the domovoi is doing. Oldest book on your TBR, because it is a very old spirit, etc., etc. It's the case for all the prompts here. They all have a relation with the story itself. So the domovoi, we give you one superpower. When things are cleaned, the domovoi is happy. So you can swap a prompt with a book you really need to finish. You really need to read it, whatever the reason is. Like you want to read it, it is like a book club, it is like for read along, it is like for buddy read, etc., etc. We just don't want unfinished business here. Something else that I can say for the next edition is that although we might have different paths because we just choose to, or because we just have like different powers, we will all try to gather some pieces of a tale, because apparently the tale got divided. We don't know why, so we will gather all the pieces of the tale on our path, on our way to the final step, in order to have a complete tale at the end for us to talk about, for us to share around the bonfire with a nice cup of tea, coffee, hot chocolate, etc. So that's gonna be our mission for next time, to find all the missing pieces of the tale. So yeah, well, that's it for now. I hope you're not gonna find this lame and that you are intrigued for next edition. I really had fun working on that edition. I'm already having fun on working on the next edition, so hopefully, finger crossed, it will all go well and you will have as much fun as you did this time. And for those who are going to participate next time that have not participated this time, it's absolutely fine. There is no booktube police or anything. So if you want to pick just one random power, you can do that. Or if you want to do a mini readathon for yourself during a weekend or whatever, just go ahead and do it. And yeah, I will let you know when the next edition is. As soon as I have the details, I will obviously share everything earlier on Patreon to the winter pack, and we might have something tiny in order to get ready for the Slavicathon edition 2 on Patreon. But yeah, well, that's it for now. Thank you so much for listening to this. I really hope you are excited for edition number 2 and that you had fun for edition number 1. Everyone, thank you so much for participating in the Readathon. Thank you to Femke and Pris for the sprints. Also, thank you to the winter pack for being there 2 more days, because you had 4 days of me breathing with you, so I hope you're okay with seeing my face that often. But yeah, well, thank you so much for watching this. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to be a part of the pack. Talk to me in the comment section down below, and until next time, take care, wolves. Bye.